everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this Wednesday, October 13th, 2021. I'm Jeremy Crosby. Hope you had a wonderful day. Glad you tuned in with us here for TF tonight. And if you're not out at the Fitchburg Fire Community Safety event, don't worry. There's another one that's going to come around. And we're going to talk about that today. We'll preview that event if you didn't make it. Or if you're going to watch the show and then be like, I got to get over there quick. You'll have time. As it's going now till 7 p.m. So got just under an hour now to get over there. So we'll talk with Adam Dorn and tell you when the next event is coming up for this, because they're having two of them here in the headlines and in the digest. I said we'll talk with Dorn on that. Plus, we've got the Hy-Vee talk. We'll be talking about gluten with Andrea Miller from Hy-Vee, a registered dietitian, and break down, including the main question: should you just cut gluten out? Can you just stop taking gluten? You know, if you have stomach issues, should you just stop? We'll tell you. And you probably could guess the answer. Maybe you can. Actually, I couldn't until we talked about it. So we'll have that coming up for you here in just a little bit of time. But first, as I mentioned, the Fitchburg Fire Department has their community safety event. It's currently going on right now. So if you have time, get over to 2301 Traceway Drive, right in front of Nine Springs there, for the fire department's community safety event. This is in lieu of the open house. They're taking the show on the road. And if you can't make it to this one, don't worry. There's another one coming around the corner. It's next Wednesday, October 20th, 5 to 7 p.m. Same style, just at Hugo Jamestown Park. And from 5 to 7, you can enjoy fire department they'll have demonstrations, fire safety presentations, and the Fitchburg Fire Department displays of the trucks, plus police and EMS will have stuff there as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll talk about this tomorrow on Talking Fitchburg. We'll look at what happened at tonight's event. So you're ready for the next one. Just saying. All right, keep Halloween decorations away from open flame. Since we're talking about fire department, let's throw in a fire safety story, because it is Fire Safety Month, of course. Fall brings lots of exciting holidays, but also the risk of home fires. The Fire Prevention Week, make sure you check your smoke alarm and practice a fire escape plan. And also make sure that you keep those Halloween decorations away from open flames. Instead of using candles, they have this cool electronic fake candles now. I mean, they come in so many different shapes and sizes. I would check that out because, you know, with all decorations, they're, I don't want to say they're cheap, but, you know, it's like plastic and things that would burn up really fast. So instead of risking it, plus if you have kids, I mean, better, just easier to not do open candles and do something different. So think fire safety here as we work through Fire Safety Month. All right, South Saline road closure. Just want to remind you of this. This is coming up next week, October 19th through the 26th. Saline Road will be closed from Wild Weather Drive south. So they're completing the hill up to Wild Weather Drive. And basically, if you can, avoid the area if possible. You can use detours to go around this project, or they will keep a lane open so you can get through there. If there's any rain delays, they will send out notifications to remind you that the project could go a little bit longer. And if you have any other questions, you can contact our friend Thomas Ballweg at the Fitchburg Public Works Department. We'll share the story. It's on our website. And of course, the link will be up when we post the headlines later today. U.S. COVID-19 vaccination progress. We got an update for you here on that. And it's looking pretty good, actually. As of October 12th, 2021, 217.4 million people, Andrew, and about 65% of U.S. population have received at least one dose of the COVID vaccine. Great job, everyone. Of those, 187.7 million, or about 56.5% of the population, is fully vaccinated. That is awesome. COVID-19 vaccines are a critical tool to stop the pandemic and help stop the spread of COVID-19, including the variants. For more information on COVID-19, you can check the CDC's website for more information, but this is looking good here as far as getting the vaccine. And continue to, if you haven't already, do some research, talk to your doctor, talk to your friends, and see if you can get that vaccine. That'll help stop the spread of COVID-19. All right, finally, want to talk about why you should seal and insulate your Addict. This is a good story here. So why? Well, save energy, save money. Yeah, it's the pocketbook, Andrew. That's a classic term. know if you ever heard that, Andrew. Pocketbook. He's like, yeah, I've heard of that, Jeremy. Come on. Air that leaks through your home envelope, the other walls, windows, doors, and other openings waste lots of energy, increase your utility costs. Well-sealed envelope coupled with a right amount of insulation can help the real difference in your utility bills. Yeah. And it should be about comfort, right? Insulation helps keep your home warm in the wintertime and cool in the summertime. It reduces noise outside too, like less pollen, dust, and insects. Seems like everybody has problems with sinus issues and stuff. Doing more insulation could prevent some of that. And most homes will benefit. Most homes in the United States don't have enough insulation and have significant air leaks. Did you know that 9 out of 10 homes in the U.S. are under-insulated? Sealing air leaks around your home and adding insulation are two of the most cost-effective ways to improve energy, efficient, and comfort in your home. By tackling both projects, you can maximize your comfort. So I think I sealed the deal there, right? So everybody will, who's a homeowner, will get it and check on this. You should, so you can save some money. Because I don't know, it just feels like it's going to be a cold winter. I'm throwing that out there right now. For sure, it's going to be a lot of snow. That's just Jeremy's prediction. And I think the Farmer's Almanac predicted that too. So might as well get insulated and get checking on it. All right, we'll take a quick break. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the fire open house that's on the road. We'll break all that down with Adam Dorn next right here on Talking Fitchburg.
It takes all of us to slow the spread of the coronavirus. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. Use a delivery service for essential items like food and medicine. If you must make essential trips, stay 6 feet apart from other people. Wear a cloth face covering and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Hey, boss. Okay.
Said I'm fine.
Me to bed, see you in the morning with the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it, and we lost it. In my head, in my head, in my head. We were underlay in my head.
Hey, son.
Hey, Bob.
You know you can talk to me.
Yeah.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg, out at Fitchburg Fire Station number 2. And I'm here with Adam Dorn. Actually, it's been a while since you and I have been together.
It
so
has.
Nice seeing you. See
You
that
too.
You and I haven't really changed too
Right,
much.
right.
I've grown the beard. But
Yeah, I've taken mine off.
I started, what's that, November?
Yeah.
I started that early. But that's not why we're here. We're here
No,
to talk
it
about
isn't.
the open house. Except, it's different.
Right.
You're taking it on the road.
We are taking it on the road.
Tell us about this.
So this year, with all the COVID concerns that we have, we want to try and keep people safe. We want to keep us safe here in the firehouse. So instead of bringing everybody here and having the possibilities of all those community members, if they may have it, if they don't know they have it, whatever it might be, right? We don't want to have the chance of our people getting sick because of that. So we're going to actually come out to you guys. It's a little bit, we're able to control that a little bit more. We're actually going to be out in the community on October 13th and October 20th. Those are Wednesday nights from 5 to 7 p.m. So we're going to be on the 13th. We're going to be up on the Fairways office building up there in the parking lot. Very much like the community night out that the police department did back in August. So we're going to be doing something very much like that. There'll be fire truck displays. We'll have some presentations that we do. Sparky will be there. We talked to him.
Thank God.
He's been vaccinated. You know, he's good. He got his shots. He's very much looking forward to this, getting out amongst people. So we're going to do some of those things. One of the new things we're going to try this year is doing an auto extrication demonstration. So, do you know what that is?
Well, I'm first off hoping it's not my car that you're going to be taking apart, but...
No, we're not going to take the new one apart. We'll take the old one apart.
Okay, deal. So auto extrication, that's going to be a lot of fun out there as well. That second date first. What is that second date and location?
October 20th is actually going to be at the Hugel Jamestown Park on October 20th.
Yeah, that'll be good. So for people who are like, well, what's the open house about? Or, new to the city, fire prevention week, it's all kind of coincides.
Yeah, all of this kind of works together with the fact that October 3rd through the 9th is Fire Prevention Week in the country. This year, the theme is Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety. I'd highly recommend you going out to, easiest way to find it is go to Google and type in 2021 Fire Prevention Week. You will find all the information you ever want to know about fire prevention and this year's theme, which is Learns the Sounds of Fire Safety. So it's very important to go check that out because a lot of people tend to forget what the different sounds of fire safety are. There's a lot of different sounds out there. It doesn't seem like there might be that many, but there is enough. The sound of the
beep has definitely changed.
Yes.
And, the evolution of the beeps definitely have changed as well. Why is it important to get out into the community? Opening the doors and letting people come in is one thing, but taking it on the road, it's got to be a little bit better experience, right? You're opening it up to more people.
Yeah, so it's an interesting concept, right? When we looked at our open house or our attendance in the past, what we've noticed is that the people that attend our open house doesn't really represent some of our higher density populations. And that might be because they don't have access to transportation, maybe they don't know about things, that kind of stuff. So we're going to try and take it to them so that those people that need this information, we all need the information, let's be honest, right? We all need this, we all want to be safe, but we can take it to them, and maybe they haven't heard this before. This is our opportunity to do so. Yeah, it's different. It's not really scary, but it's just very different from what we've done in the past. We're trying something new this year. It may hold enough water that we can do it again next year. Maybe.
Whoa, look at that pun.
Right? Maybe it's something that doesn't work out so well and we got to come up with another plan.
I think this is going to do good. The community night out's been doing the travel show as well now, and I think having it out, like you said, bringing it to different neighborhoods, I think is really cool. Because you think of the neighborhood firehouse, and it's kind of spread out for all the firehouses, so it gives the opportunity, again, to have people come out and see you. And then importance for kids to see this. I know we're really spending a lot of time on recruiting the next generation of firefighters, and that starts at a young age.
It does.
And I can think of my first firehouse visit. I can remember that. It stands out to me. Yep. So how's that impact for you and everybody out there trying to get people involved now?
Well, much like you, I remember my the real first vivid memory of me going to the firehouse. I had my red plastic helmet, and I thought it was the coolest thing that the guys were washing the floor, and I got to stand on the back of the tailboard of the fire truck. It's really nothing. I didn't really do anything, but it sunk into my memory that that's what I remember. And that memory for me could be the same thing for one of these young people that we go out and see in our community, because maybe they don't get the chance to come to the firehouse or our open house as we normally do it. So if we go to them, they have a chance to see us, talk to us, look at our equipment, interact with us, and maybe we can make that lasting impression that they go, that's what I want to do. I want to be that. And from there, just help encourage them to pursue that dream, pursue that goal, and help them along the way to make that happen.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Quickly remind us of the 2 dates and the times again and locations, just so people know where to go.
So we're going to be out at the Fairways Apartments on Traceway Drive on October 13th from 5 to 7 p.m. And then it'll be at Hugel Jamestown Park from 5 to 7 p.m. on October 20th.
Perfect. October 20th is my anniversary, so
I expect to see you there.
I can't see a better reason not to come out. Just don't tell my wife that's what we're doing. No, it's going to be a lot of fun, Doran. I think this is a great opportunity for folks to see the equipment, learn fire safety, which is a big part of this. But really, the next generation of firefighters too, I think, is a big push for us, and I'm excited to see it out there. So that's it.
Thanks for stopping by.
It's kind of nice here. I'm going to go sit in your office chair next year. Just get my mask and head over there. So, yeah.
I'll get you a glass of water.
Fantastic. All right, Adam Doran, Fitchburg Fire Department open house is coming up. Love this guy. That's all I can say. All right, we'll wrap it up here. We'll see you at the open house. We'll take a quick break. Oh, open house. Oh, my gosh. I said open house. I'm so used to it.
Community
adventure. Do we have a name for it yet?
No, I guess we haven't come up with official name. Maybe we need to do that yet.
Fire prevention week visit, fire safe. Yeah, I got nothing. Take a break. We're getting out of this. Talking Fitchburg.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Brandon met a girl on a dating app. He finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving.
She must be a keeper.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
Helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today, our Hy-Vee expert in the dietitian world, our only dietitian, but I still call her the expert. It's Andrea Miller. Andrea, welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing great.
You are like in the middle of the aisle. Like, are you blocking
Yes.
people from their shopping experience?
Yeah, we had to close down the aisle for this segment. So let's speed it up a little bit here. So
All right, you got it.
problems.
If somebody runs in the back of you, we'll just cut that out. Certainly. Today we're taking on an interesting topic, and it's October is Celiac Awareness Month, and there's a lot of questions surrounding this. Going to a gluten-free diet, just gluten itself. It's kind of a big world now, as a lot of things are, I guess, really say. But overall, when you take a look at this month in this specific disease, what does it mean?
Yes. So it's good to remember that when we're talking about a gluten-free diet for someone with celiac disease, this means that when this person ingests gluten, their immune system has a negative response to it, and it actually damages the lining of their small intestine. So a lot of foods get started with digestion or finish digesting in the small intestine. And for these folks, it's a genetic disorder that the gluten actually damages their intestines. So symptoms can vary, but pretty much internally what's going on is pretty dramatic and pretty consistent from person to person.
Is it a hard disease to figure out that's the gluten is causing this issue? Because you hear a lot of people say they have stomach issues, they have, name it, whatever the case may be. So diagnose wise, it's got to be pretty difficult.
Right. Yes. And over the last few years, it's been becoming a little bit more mainstream, I guess, or a little bit more easily identified and easily diagnosed. Or readily diagnosed, I guess, however you look at it. But the big recommendation here is it should be diagnosed by medical professionals. So the traditional method is blood test, which that usually indicates something to go further with a small biopsy.
Gotcha.
So you're taking basically a biopsy of the small intestine, okay? Small bowel biopsy, I guess is what I was trying to say. So you're taking a biopsy or a look at that internal villi is what that's called. And when they see the damage, that's what really helps indicate that celiac disease is present. Now, what happens a lot, which is not recommended, what happens a lot is folks will say, well, I think I have an issue with gluten, so I'm just going to take it out and see what happens. That can be an issue if you are eventually going to get tested, because if you're getting tested and you don't have gluten in the system, it's not going to show as present, or it's not going to be as obvious, and can really kind of throw off the diagnosis. So the general recommendation is when somebody's having digestive issues, they think it might be related to a food that they're consuming, that they go in and see a medical professional, ideally somebody in the gastroenterology department that specializes in this kinds of thing. Because as we're going to talk about today, there's so many things that could go wrong with digestion. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But there's so many different intolerances and different things like that we can't just tell on our own, just kind of playing around with our diet. That can be a little tricky and sometimes a little bit harmful.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I would think the next spot to go here is just overall, what is gluten, or where do we find gluten itself?
Yes, very good question. So gluten is the protein component in certain grains. So wheat, rye, and barley. So all grains have a protein component. Wheat, rye, and barley have gluten. That's their protein component. Okay. So usually an autoimmune kind of misstep or an allergy is related to the protein in a food. Okay. When we're talking intolerances, and people can have an intolerance to wheat, or they could have even a gluten intolerance where it's not celiac disease. That's more so related to the starch or the sugar in a food. So that's a completely different distinction, and it's managed completely differently in terms of how we treat it.
My gosh. It's difficult. It's difficult to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
Because, and as you said, it's out there more. Information about this is out there. Right. Turning to the attention of dieting. So you already mentioned about, you got to be careful about cutting this out of your diet if you think you're concerned about stomach issues. But what about people who are like, well, I'm gluten-free because it's healthier?
Yeah. That's a lot of what's going on right now. I mean, I'm in the gluten-free aisle, which is just tons and tons and tons of products. And we get this marketing barrage of messages, to eat gluten-free. It's very important to remember, and this is kind of where it helps with our science background as dietitians, is when you look at the digestive components, that's what we need to figure out, is that where the issue is. So when somebody asks, is it healthier to eat gluten-free? Well, for somebody where gluten causes a negative response and damages the small intestine, yes, it's healthier for that person to avoid gluten, and almost necessary, right? But for the average person, there really isn't a difference. And so in some respects, actually, food products that are gluten-free aren't necessarily more nutritious. So again, I always go back to, is there nutrition in something when I'm defining healthy? And something that's gluten-free isn't always more nutritious than something without. And as far as it goes with weight control, we can't say specific foods cause weight gain or weight loss. It's about overall inclusion, our overall intake, and how we're eating that food. So that can't be narrowed down either to say, I'm going to lose weight if I follow gluten-free.
So if you're looking at different dieting tips, is there a way to still use some of the gluten-free products as a substitute for something? I always think of a substitute of one of my favorite, you name whatever, and it would help in that healthier eating diet.
Yep. So the good thing is, a lot of manufacturers of products that are gluten-free are really looking at the nutrition now. So they're changing up the grains. There's ancient grain options, sprouted grain options, things like black bean chips, those kinds of things where you're getting a different type of nutrition, or you're kind of actually adding more nutrition. And it's not really the fact because it's gluten-free, it just happens to be gluten-free, I guess, if you look at it that way. So it's a good reminder to take a look at what you're eating, eat something for what it is rather than for what it isn't. And that's where you're going to really help continue to stay balanced and continue to get variety. That helps with digestion. We kind of forget about that sometimes. I was mentioning before all these different enzymes. There's an enzyme for carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, different sugars. And so if we eat balanced, we eat a variety, that whole process keeps working really well. When we start eliminating foods, we start getting too picky choosy, that can actually throw off the digestive system. So those are good things to remember.
So most of the time, overall, if somebody's going to make the switch, whether it's dieting or probably most likely looking at stomach issues, as a reminder here overall, this is probably the spot where you probably want to not drop off completely, and definitely work with a dietitian or check with a doctor or whatever. But for somebody who does have celiac disease and moving forward on dieting and stuff, what options are out there to help still get you some of the foods you like, but removing that gluten?
Yeah. So if you have the diagnosis, or if you know you're going to get tested, you have a genetic component, so there's a pretty good chance that you have it along with your symptoms. Once you have that, that's when we really encourage having the advice and seeking out a dietitian that can help apply that information, because really the only treatment is following gluten-free for the rest of your life. And so it can be done, and in this day and age, it can be done very well. And so what we can do is we understand the science, we understand the digestion, and we can help people apply that, find foods that fill those nutrient gaps. So we're not talking about compromised nutrition. Find foods that taste good, that you enjoy, and try to live and cook and eat as normally as possible.
You may have the most interesting job on the planet because of how many different ideas, topics. Like somebody can walk in and say, well, I may or may not be gluten, but you know what, Andrea, I need you to find me something to replace this with that and still make it taste good. My goodness. Well, it's a very interesting topic, and the whole month here of October, maybe you can stop in and talk to Andrea. If people want more resources on this, because we're just scratching the surface here today, where can they find that?
Yeah, so they can reach out to me directly. I'm providing my contact info and the links. They go to our Hy-Vee dietitian page on Hy-Vee.com. We have lots of events going on this week this month related to gluten-free, including an in-store event on Saturday at the various stores for sampling and such. So, but if folks are having individual questions or are going to miss that event, reach out to me directly and I can help them out.
All right, Andrea, thank you so very much for your help. And now get out of that aisle so people can start shopping, okay?
I'll open it back up again. Okay.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much. Andrea Miller, dietitian. Like I said, check her out at any of the Hy-Vee locations here in the Madison area. She's here to help all of them. More importantly, she's here at our Fitchburg one too, so that's important to us. All right, we'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantore here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family, and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show for the day, I want to thank Adam Dorn from the Fitchburg Fire Department joining me, and Andrea Miller from Hy-Vee, registered dietitian. Appreciate the topics. We'll tackle diabetes next month here on Talking Fitchburg. Looking forward to talking to her about that. And of course, you can catch all of these interviews and more right here at our Facebook and YouTube pages. We post the videos up there, including the headlines and guest segments, and so much more. Have a great day, everybody. See you back here tomorrow.